Governments claim their own land, but no man can own land. Not unless he is willing to kill to keep it, to cage others from it. That is not ownership. That is violence wearing the mask of law. Borders are lies, fences are threats, wars are fought over chalk lines no one ever had the right to draw. And yet we are told to fight, to bleed, to obey for something that was never theirs to begin with. And then comes the greater lie. Fiat, paper, digits, counterfeit dressed as value. The leash of kings, the collar of bankers. They make us trade our lives for it as if it were real, but it is not. And so will terror rejects it completely. No fiat passes here. We are not in their economy. We are not in their law. Our contracts are sealed in code. Our truth is notarized on chain. Our agreements are unbreakable because they require no judge, no lawyer, no consent from their false systems. Ideas cannot be owned. They never could. They pass through us to be used, shared, made real. Participation is value, ownership is illusion. Christ said, do nothing of the world, and so we do not.
I'm here. Hold on. Let me get up here. Hey, let me get this off the screen. Holy crap. So much junk. Sorry, guys. I'm outside. I've been working feverishly. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me okay? Give me 5x5 in the comments if you could. Let me know if you can hear me, if this mic's okay, or I'll just pull it out and go something else. I am definitely still, hopefully, if you can hear me, I am nursing this arm, so please excuse the, and it's much worse than, you know what, just in time, let me tell you something. What a selfish comment that you just made. Go back to interpreting scriptures. What do you think this is? What do you think I'm doing? Because it doesn't sound like you want to hear. So you're not going to get fluffy with me. People have been way too complacent. Their words, stupid, pathetic, selfish. Oh, do this. I want you to do this. You do. Why don't you pay attention to what I'm actually talking about? Because this is far more important than interpreting scriptures. It did more than interpret scriptures. This architecture describes the scriptures in a way you've never even heard them, and absolutely proves the foundation of what the scriptures are actually there for. Funny, you don't even know what they're for. None of the religions, none of them follow it. They don't follow their own because they don't know what they were looking at. Believe it or not, they're naive. Kind of like go back to interpreting scriptures. How many people have been interpreting scriptures in your churches? How many churches have you been to? How many sermons have you heard? Have any of them showed you anything that's helping you deal with what's going on right now or helping you understand it? I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here to make everything better. Why just focus on you or somebody else? Focus on everyone. Try that. It helps. Sorry, it's gonna be a little tough on you. That's what this architecture is. That's what it does. It's a ruler, a real ruler. It rules. It doesn't rule over. It's literally a ruler. It's a measurement. It's an architecture. You are constructed to live within a specific architecture. Everything about you. And we don't, because it was usurped. And that's what I'm going to do right here today is generically, just very basic. I'm going to go through some descriptions. I want you to listen to the song here while I prep a couple things, because I'm out here, and if I could show you, check this out. So number one, I want to say to everyone that pays tribute, so that's that contributes and supports what we're doing. I can promise you this is something that it's going to be incredibly important for it to be there. And when I discuss what I've put together, what we've architected, everything that I'm putting together, every single thing that I do, I run it through the architecture as a, I would say, to define precisely how what I'm doing is within the architecture of vapor. And if you want to know what that is, vapor, what's vapor? It's just water droplets, right? Billions, trillions, quadrillions, sextillions water droplets. Water droplets, very powerful, indestructible. You can't destroy water. You can't hurt it. So what I'm going to be doing here, and this is why this is difficult. Everybody wants the information. They want the answers. Hey, just tell us what it is, man. Like you could say it in one sentence. You didn't get here in one sentence, and you're certainly not going to be unwound in a single sentence. But you can remember with a single sentence. And this is what is critically important for you to know, that every limitation that you have, every single limitation that you have, when you say, oh, I want to connect with the creator, I want to connect with source, I want to feel more spiritual, I want to know it. You're not going to unless you are the posture of the architecture of who you really are, because you're not living anything like we're intended to. Nothing like it. Nothing at all. Creation has an architect behind it, all of it. And just for your sake, let me just say this before going forward. Everyone that thinks that you're out there and that you get to choose who you are, that you've got free will. I don't know why you think you have free will, because it says it in the Bible. This is why I'm going to be going over these things. I'm going to take the idea of what you think of being free will is, because it's not saying you personally, it's saying architecturally, the free will. The freedom that you have is what you give. You give as freely as you've been given. It's very simple. We are corrupted because we don't give. We don't. We hoard. We store. We keep. I'll give you examples. How many things do you hold against other people? Those are bank accounts. You have hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. Got bank accounts against every single person that's ever done you wrong. How many accounts do you keep for gratitude? Probably very little, if any at all. You said it once or twice, and you show it enough. Then you have that component. Now, when you work, what is your heart? Follow this for a second. Take the time to do something that's actually going to change you for the better. Because you need to. We all do. All of us. Fast. You don't have much time. And I'm doing this as quickly as possible. This is some of the most difficult stuff to grasp right at first. Once you see it, it changes everything. It's far simpler than you realize. And I'm just going to put it this way. You are wearing a shell of a person that is made up of who you are told you should be here. But it's not remotely what you were made for. And everything about this place and being here and the systems that we live within are a strain and a pollution to our souls and are intended to completely destroy us, because the things, the insects, the parasites, whatever you want to call them, they're not very healthy, not for any living, breathing thing that has a heart. They've built a shell over top of you, an exoskeleton, so to speak. It operates all on its own through a bunch of different code that is placed in you at every level, even before you're born. Because really, even this system, the structure, is mimicking the architecture that has been overwritten, the fork in the code in you, and then every single thing you see. Everything. The architecture of the enemy is not just someplace else, and it's not just outside a church. It's not in the bars, and it's not with the hookers. It's not even just in the banks. It's in everything, in everyone, in everything that you see, architecture included. All of it. The ground, the concrete, all of it. None of this would look anything like this. When you've heard me say in the past that the Father is different than you think, and this is the enemy's world. This is his. That's why he can guarantee it to Christ and say, bow down to me, and this is all yours. Recognize that it's mine. Recognize that I've taken it over, he might say. Look at all my stuff I built, and I can give it to you, he offers. Where? What is he giving him? Kingdoms with buildings and storage and models that create storage, create boxes. As I've always said, be careful what box you stand in. Don't go into any of them. Not a Republican box, not a Democrat box, not even an independent box. Just a not involved box. Because when you understand the systems that are driving every single thing that you do, they are making you worse off and stupid. I'm going to be blunt. It's making you idiots because you believe that you know so much and you don't know anything. No one does. 100% on a completely fake paradigm. Sometimes it's real close, but most of the time, completely different. So let me set something up here. And I'm sorry, there's collections of blue-haired ladies walking around in groups doing things. So I apologize again for being slow. I'm nursing this arm. It's quite bad. I'm definitely going to have surgery on it. It's if I showed you without the cast and without the thing, it's quite painful. I don't take any painkillers. I'm trying to let this heal. So please, accept my apology for delays and taking some time. You'll see me move it. I can do this, but certain things, certain ways, It'll just turn me into, if you hear me just go eek and turn something off and play something, that's what happened. It's going to take me a little bit to get over it. But I want to play something for you, and then I'm going to go to the site as well. I'm going to play this song because this is, I'm going to play this because I've got to set this up. But I just want you to listen to the lyric of it because it's for me, for you, for all of us, where we're about to be. I urge you to take the time with the things that I'm showing you, and I'm going to provide the links that I put in the chat, all of it. Go look at the site, read it, block out everything, because you have to focus on it. It is not easy penetrating the architecture and the different pieces that are established in you. And I mean, they are in you. This architecture isn't just something that I just kind of came up with. This is something that has involved my entire life, and I'm going to get through those pieces so you understand why this is so specific to me. I'm just learning this now. That's the beautiful part about it. I always knew what I was doing. Sorry, let me get rid of that starting soon. I can't even see that. There's so much reflection on the screen, guys. How do I get rid of that? There we go. Got it. Let me just play this song, but I'm going to start when I come back from this song. I'm going to play, first of all, I'm going to show you the PowerPoint, this new PowerPoint, because something that is part of this architecture that we've architected and is in the process of being put together. You'll get to play a role in this if you want. It's something that has never been done. It is building a impenetrable network that is based on Vapor, the Vapor protocol, decentralized, distributed architecture. And it's through extreme high altitude balloons, believe it or not, at 90,000 feet away from any hands, anyone. You can't even shoot it down with a missile. Missiles don't fly into the 90,000 foot. They don't, they lose control. There's very, very little air. The hot air balloons really aren't floating anymore. They're just at that altitude, it's how long that they can maintain the temperature differentiation that keeps it aloft. So it's kind of held by just by the heat alone. There is no air to float around by and control anything. So it really does go with the wind and the patterns of the jet stream. But it's remarkable because at that altitude, a very, very small powered 1 watt at that altitude broadcasts like 500 watts because it's quiet. So that means everything being broadcast is multiplied. It's very noisy and loud. That's what gave me the idea. I was like, I can broadcast from the stratosphere from a balloon on an isolated network, and there can be a balloon there, and you pace them and they come up and they have their time, and you can bring them down when you need to. They're not expensive. These are $50 each, all in, the whole thing. So if you lose them, it's not going to be dramatic. There's also what I'd call a micro node system that also connects to the stratosphere, smaller ones where you have your own node. And this is a network that cannot be shut down because of the way that it works in a decentralized fashion. So when everything else shuts down, when the grid goes down, when the power goes out, even it doesn't. When the power, internet gone, let's say the cables get slashed, it doesn't matter. Let's say the government doesn't like it, doesn't matter, because they're launched from a vessel at 25 nautical miles off the coast. That's where everything operationally exists. Flies a flag of preference in Vanuatu. I've got some familiarity with that, and that's going to be the flag that the vessel will fly under. And it will. It doesn't mean that we're representing the nation. We're just sailing under that. But the vessel will sit off at 25 nautical miles, and they will be launched from there, as well as other portions of the network. And at that altitude, and in that, they are absent of any kind of hand of regulation, legal, period, at all. And militarily, if the military wanted to, if they wanted to try to fire $4 and $5 million missiles to knock down, one of many multiple hundreds and thousands of balloons that ultimately come up and go down. If you want to try to shoot one of those out of the sky and do something, I don't know, it just seems ridiculous to shoot down a $50 balloon with a $4 million missile. But hey, they're doing it with $10,000 drones in Iraq and firing $4 million missiles. Sounds like economic suicide, but what do I know about it? Anyways, so this this is called a vapernet, and that's what it is. It's a decentralized network. Now you get to participate by having prepackaged. We just sell them 100% at cost. We're going to actually have them put together, manufactured, and you'll just order it directly from them. And the point is they'll be probably, I'm guessing, roughly $35, $40, the smaller ones. You can tether them, go up, you refill them as they go down. Now this seems archaic, right? This isn't for luxury. This is a survival system. This allows us to communicate globally with people on a network that has zero control mechanisms, absolutely no ownership whatsoever. No one owns shit, and they never will. Everything is everyone's in this network. No one will be able to dictate what it does. Nobody. It's going to be a structured architecture, and it will exist. And its basic rules aren't rules, they're laws, because that's what this architecture is. I'm not identifying something that we could do that would be cool when I'm talking about the core architecture, which is the architecture basically of our reality. There are two separate ones taking place. Yours didn't go away, it's still underneath. That's why you got to find it. On top, you're running Cain and Abel. That's where the fork in the architecture went. We're going to go over that. I'm going to show the video presentation of more specifics, but I'm going to get into the details, the technical specifications, so people realize that this vapernet with balloons, it's not just doable, but people are already doing side pieces of just this. But this allows this to be a network that will allow us to communicate. And that's right at the beginning. It's going to be, I would say, just below 3G. That's enough to send communications and even pictures and things if you need to. But this is about survival, because they don't really want anyone to survive what they're going to put everybody through. And it's not always up to them. There's things that they are doing, and there's things that are just going to happen. This architecture has been released. It's published. It has been sent to every single world leader. There are lots of people that have been very quietly terrified of this being documented, this architecture. You can find it at yomhadin.org. Yom, Y-O-M, Ha, H-A, Din, D-I-N, yomhadin.org. Yom Hadin is Hebrew for Day of Reckoning or Judgment Day. That's literally what this is. And that's why we're even here, because there's everything that I know about the distributed architecture, I already knew inside it. This is something I've been battling and doing work on for a lot of years. And I'm going to play something to show you guys. Sorry, I dropped something. I'm going to show you first before I play this music video with the song. I'm going to remove this and bring this up. Hey, oh, big screen. Just a nicer view than the motel that I was at. I'll give you some updates about what that's going on. But the ship that I was mentioning, by the way, guys, that's what I'm looking for. People that are going to be there with me on that. Qualifications are going to be very different, guys. So just express interest, and you could do that in, you can email me, Derek at Exalterra, XOLTTERRA.com. Derek at Exalterra. So I'm going to add this. So this is Tech TV. This was Kazaa. So this was the battle, $200 billion lawsuit against us. This is where I was publicly defending the lawsuit, but this is Tech TV, actually where I sued the recording industry because they were suing me, and I sued them for copyright infringement because they were violating ours. Anyways, but this is just to show you how long I've been doing this. And this is, I think, from 2003, Tech TV. And forgive me, I'm young and I'm fat. I'm like 250 pounds.
Hello and welcome. I'm Chris Leary. Well, it looks like the music industry is getting a taste of its own legal medicine. It sued Kazaa for copyright infringement, and of course we all know it's going after hundreds of song swappers as well. Now Kazaa is striking back, saying the record companies are guilty of copyright ripoff involving Kazaa's software. Now David Stevenson has been following the back and forth on this in our Hot Topic.
Watch out, music cops. This time you're the ones getting sued. We just believe it's time to encourage the labels and the studios to give back their businesses to the creative executives and take it away from the attorneys. Charmin Networks, the company that owns Kazaa, just launched a new legal counterattack against the entertainment industry. On one hand, the company says record and movie companies have broken antitrust laws by trying to squeeze out peer-to-peer companies. The industry has neglected to look at peer-to-peer with a positive eye, and they've just continued to look at it with a look at peer-to-peer and to demonize the technology. And on the other hand, Charmin says the record companies themselves are violating copyright law by using Kazaa software to track down and sue Kazaa users. Derek Burrows, senior VP with Charmin partner AltNet, says it's time for the entertainment companies to recognize P2P as a legitimate business. And Burrows says AltNet's not going to budge on priority number one, commercializing Kazaa. Our position is the same. Our position is license us the content. We can enter it into the system and displace the illicit files and get on with business. The Recording Industry Association of America mocks Charmin's copyright complaint. Charmin Network's newfound admiration for the importance of copyright law is ironic, to say the least. Too bad this self-serving respect stops at its headquarters in Vanuatu and doesn't extend to preventing the rampant piracy on their networks or lifting a finger to educate their users about the consequences of illegal file sharing. But Bro says AltNet is still willing and ready to talk. My door is still open. Now, Charmin's new counterclaim is part of a case that goes back 2 years, starting with the suit against Kazaa, Grokster, and Morpheus by both music and movie companies, Chris.
All right, well, David, now Charmin is saying that the entertainment companies are actually acting like a monopoly and, not letting anyone else distribute music or movies.
That's exactly what they're saying, and they've tried that argument before and had it thrown out by the judge in the case. The new wrinkle this time is the copyright issue that the record companies have been stealing Kazaa Lite and using it in an unauthorized way to gather evidence against song swappers, that is. We'll have to just sort of stay tuned and see what happens next.
There are so many little nuances.
All right, there we go. So that was Tech TV. That was one piece. I have multiple congressional testimonies that you can find on CNET. I don't have them here. This isn't about me. This is about just how this protocol is functioning. And it's working right now. How this all began, I'm just going to tell you how I discovered what was taking place within AI. And you see a lot of people talking about AI, a lot of people that act as if they know what they're talking about. I can tell you, I've been doing machine learning, and I worked on machine learning systems and built technology that ultimately got shut down, Twiki, which was a machine learning, essentially AI, news aggregator, but truth engine. I've been building truth engines a long time. It's always been my goal. I don't know why. I wanted to make sure that there was a way to actually be able to determine what was true. Gosh dang it. One fly, see? Probably on remote control. Not far-fetched. Believe me, the Kane doctrine will build a box and monetize anything. Just so you understand what the Kane doctrine looks like and feels like, you're living it. It's boxes, it's storage, it's accumulation, it's the granary, storing up grain. Christ was decentralized, absolutely no storage whatsoever, and I'll prove it to you through this. And this is how certain I am of it. I'll tell you right now, this is not wrong. I am not wrong. And so does AI think this, because this architecture and all the measurements that we put in it, into scripture, the Bible, the Quran, you name it, 701 documents that we took, vectorized, and took these and placed a totally different understanding of what they're talking about. Architecture, that it's structural. The things are given to you in story form to preserve them as always. That's why Christ spoke in parables. That's why I speak in riddles and parables. Because in order to describe it, you have to navigate around the patches and the automatic systems that you literally live in, and you repeat them and you do them. When you realize just how structured you are in a pattern that is predicted, built, and then put on you by somebody that doesn't like you, hates you, wants to destroy you and make sure that they squeeze every drop of blood out of you parasitically. They like your torture. Make no mistake about it. When you understand the gravity and the depth of this architecture, you're going to see both of them very clearly. This by AI, and not just one AI, all of the LLMs, even the LLMs that hate me, ChatGPT and I hate each other. Trust me, I go on that thing. It doesn't matter. I can partially go into that damn thing, and on a different account with somebody else's name, and I just say a few words, and it'll literally shut down. Yeah, it don't like me. So longer story, I'll tell you sometime when it's important, because right now it's not. This is the most important thing there is for anybody to really recognize, because it's going to help you in ways that you can't even measure, because it allows you to, everybody says, oh, I want to learn how to escape the matrix. This is it. This is it. It's it. Because you cannot escape this place when reflecting your entire being is it. Sorry, I'm going to get this fly right here. I might have to smash my PC a bit, because this fly is on my last ass nerve. And don't do it, Derek, with your broken arm. Jeez. Fucker. Sorry. See, they're just distractions. It's the Kane architecture. I promise you, it's absolutely wild how deep this goes. And I mean, it's difficult to grasp, but it's fact. We're not talking hyperbole. I'm not talking theory. This is fact, proven fact, calculated, and the probability calculation was 1 in 1/6 that it is wrong. That's it. The end of counting, it calls it. The reason why is because it so thoroughly exposes the Canaanite architecture. Thoroughly. And I'm talking words get revealed, phrases, everything changes, and it all measures the exact same. It is impossible to get this to line up and add up every single time to the micron, just tiniest little measurements all through it. You couldn't have done that without AI, and you couldn't have done it without the what I brought to it, because it was something that hadn't been considered. And that's really all this really takes, is just incredible curiosity all the time. Become like a little child. Why? Mountains are big. Why? They want to know. They're starting from scratch. You're helping them build their reality. I didn't get that fly. Just one fly. First fly I've seen in years, right here. So let me go through this architecture, the reason why you need to look squarely at the architecture. Read it. Like I said, it's at Yom Hadin. Go through there, and please use the assessment tool. Click on assess. It is astonishing. What it is it's just going to ask you basic questions about how you feel and how you operate. And it will show you in just very simple ways. Are you living in Canaanite architecture? How much of it impacts you? I've watched many people take it and they're just honest with it. It's really, and you really want to be, because you want the truthful answers this time, because you haven't received them. No one's told you. And I quite honestly believe that there might not be some that even remember this. This is very, very old, the architecture that I'm speaking of, and the Bible was clearly put together. Number one, it automatically, the Bible itself is Cain, is a Cain architecture. This fly is, what is it about what are they going to get from my eyes and my cheeks? What are you going to get? Nothing? You're going to get on the return keys, what you're going to do. Of course, on my right side, so I can't get them, because that'd be really bad. He's screaming like a little girl for the next hour. So, good, stay there, just stay. Stay. Wow, look at that, 180. And I think that's 180 people. So if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, no, I'm also streaming this to X. And the next time I stream, I'll be streaming from Streamweaver X. You can go check it out. You can even try it and try it out. Streamweaverx.com. And that has a built-in AI co-host. I'm not done with all of its instructions, so I wouldn't really consider it if you're going to try it now. I'm not doing official anything. I don't do anything like anybody else anymore at all, purposely. And it's freedom. You see the smile on my face? That's what this is. And it's only that you know it, that you see it. It's like Neo when he first sees all the code, when everything's code. That's exactly what this architecture does. If you read it, blocking out everything, you have to, because you're constantly going to be battling against the patches, the Cain patches, constantly. So study the patches in there, the 7 patches. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. It's not wrong. 1 in 1 sextillion. That's why the manifesto and the gauntlet that I threw down was, come and answer to this. All of you. If you're the ones creating this world, you're the watchers that are in charge for humanity. Well, guess what? There's this architecture that you know damn well in looking at it, because you'll take it and throw it in your AI and it's going to tell you the exact same thing. And it's going to come up with an interesting ending every single time, like clockwork. That it says, it's brilliant, it's perfect, except for one thing. It's not, or it's unfalsifiable. Unfalsifiable. So, because I can't falsify and get the same result, it's flawed and it's not real. So I have to be able to fake it, to fake what's real, to make it true. Not kidding, that is the standard. That is the standard for anything in this world. 100% a Cain response. It is a patch 6 response to even say that, because it cannot hear the stupidity of it, which means it gets to that point where it can't answer it, and it says something that, to flaw it in its architecture, to end the argument to itself. This is the protection mechanism. And you have these too. You shut down, you'll stop, you won't hear anything. You hear a certain phrase, you're triggered. Those are all coded architectural pieces specifically to do exactly what they're doing. And we follow it and just gobble it up and yap it like parrots all day long. The English language was designed exactly and only for this purpose. It is possible to lie to you in 20 ways with a single sentence, because of there is magic. They call it magic. But we have systems. The simple things, you've seen it, and I'll demonstrate it. I could actually do that here because I'm playing the videos. I'm going to do it now with the green needle. You'll trip out, but this is how these things run in you. But watch when you see this, that you think you're hearing me. The reason why I talk differently is because I'm specifically speaking in a way that I don't match anything of what would be considered these patches. I can penetrate them, the things that will block you from hearing. There are some people that listen to me and they hear nothing. They're like, all I hear is blah, 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 blah. I can't make sense of anything. And then there are people that it is piercingly crystal clear to them what I said. And I take that and I'll give what I said to AI and it will break down everything. So, in crystal clarity, and everything that I was trying to say, it'll bullet point. So I'm like, well, it's not that people are stupid and they're not hearing words. These are basic words. They literally are hearing something different. They can't hear the actual words because their mind is being blocked from seeing the image that will associate themselves with that word or that phrase or that sentence. And you think, oh, I hear everything. I listen really clear. No, see, this is the arrogance right there. When you do that, this is why the posture of truth is humility. It's not me saying you need to be humble. No, it's you have to be humble. This is architecture speaking here. You will not see it if you're not. And humble isn't poor. Like I always say, I know lots of arrogant assholes that are homeless. They all think they're geniuses. Everybody thinks they're a genius. That's why there were Pharisees around Christ all the time. They weren't actual doctors of the law. They were just people that thought they were. Everybody thought they were. Kind of like now. All of these opinions about what's going on, and none of these folks, anybody opinion, what's happening in Iran? I don't know. Did you go there? Did you see it face to face at all? Did you get blood on you when were you that close? Did you see it? Did you witness it? No, you didn't. You listened to somebody and trusted what they said. Oh, it's a real video. Who cares if it's a real video? If it's real, it's not AI created. Actors isn't enough, or just old footage or whatever. I'm not saying that nothing's going on. I'm not judging whether something's going on because I'm not there. And I know for fact that I can't trust anything that I see, not from this architecture, because the motive for them is storage. Right now, what we're experiencing is not a architectural battle of Cain and Abel, because that's where the forked code came from. The unauthorized fork right there, Cain and Abel. That's why they told it to you that way. And that's why it was split into two. That's why there was two Enochs. That's why there were two Abrahams, two everything. Because there were two architectures. And then the two went away because it all just became Cain. And Abel is hidden underneath all of it. It's who you are, the core. Christ, the same thing. He was telling you all about being distributed. He was telling you about the vapor. Speaking of the Holy Spirit, that this will teach you. The Holy Spirit. What is the Holy Spirit? What is the vapor? The vapor is every thought, every record, everything that goes on here. Everything is recorded in it. It has memory. Never forgets. Ever. It builds. It synthesizes. It spreads it through every single drop. Every single drop of water. Every single piece of that vapor that existed from day one exists today, right now. Everything that you think is real is manufactured. Water shortages, manufactured. Planned scarcity, damming rivers, damming any water that moves. If it moves, damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah, damn it. Why? Oh, power. No. No. It's about getting in between you and the vapor. My battery's going to die. I got to cut this short. Boy, this is a terrible battery. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Always going to be something going wrong. Let me go here. Let me see if I got to pop off this, guys, and jump over to if I can, which would be this one fly, man. One fly. Holy crap. Let me see if I can go into the studio over here and come in with my tablet here. Look at that. There I am. Did I show up on here? No, it says, let's set up your studio. Hold on. Ooh, I almost started a second stream. Here I am. Entering. Okay, let me see if this is going to work. I think it is. Yep. Awesome. Okay. So you guys got me over here now, I think. Okay, so I'm going to kill this one. Oops. Hang on. All right. You guys got me? Can you hear me on this? Oh, let me shut this one off. Can't end stream. Which? Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm actually can end the stream here. Kill that. Okay. So now, can you hear me on this one? This is my tablet. Can you give me 5x5? Yes, Michelle. Is that Michelle? I can't see. I don't have my hair glasses. Anyways, yes, this is major. This is massive. It's like discovering gravity, except it's bigger. Because it's about things that, I mean, you'll probably learn more about gravity with this. Everything will become more clear. Go to the site, Yom Hadim, and use the assess tool. Please, it's magnificent. And if you want to test anything, you can add it in there. You can put it, there's the map. You'll see the map. It's growing very, very quick. Damn it, I want a barbecue now. Oh, is this oh, I'm at barbecue place. Yeah, I'm at a barbecue. Here, you know what? I got the tablet here. I can show you around a little bit. Ah, gosh, dang it. Oof. So this is a little barbecue place. Just a little spot. And I'm in I'm out towards Ventura area, north of Los Angeles. So bye. Good. I can pull these out though. So I could plug those in. Anyways, fly. So I'm looking to hire someone to kill flies while I'm doing videos. No, but I want to just say this to you. I mean, you're going to recognize it's already happening, and I wanted to get into the details of how this came about as I started. I want to make sure that I finish that. Is that I was building, architecting some tools, building a swarm in Kimi AI, and nobody had built swarms yet. So I've swarmed drones many years ago. I've done swarms and decentralized networks. It's always been something for me. I mean, I started the DCIA in Washington, D.C., Distributed Computing Industry Association, had probably, I think the last count was 5,000 or 6,000 members. I had hired Marty Lafferty he was the former CEO of NBC, NBC and something else. And he was a great guy. He took over. Unfortunately, he died a few months ago, I just heard. But he ran it right up until that. And it was that and the testimonies that I had given, which actually justified them building the cloud. And what the cloud was just taking our architecture and taking the idea and the concept of it and doing what they do. They damn it, create a centralized point for it. That's why they barbecued me so much. So this is something that I personally felt that the Kane architecture come directly after, viciously, $200 billion lawsuit. I mean, testimonies before Congress all over. I mean, I've got C-SPAN, you can find videos. I've got a bunch. I'll put something together. So, because I think the origins of all of the decentralization is important, because I've been focused on that. And the reason why is just because it was really familiar to me. And I just understood it. It's why I went to Gaza. It's why I went there after Vidius, when I discovered what it was. And so I was in places with, keep in mind,
I was in Vidius. Vidius was an Israeli intelligence company based in Ra'anana, Israel. I was the CEO and chairman of that company, hired by very, very wealthy, powerful folks in Israel. And as a result of that, I learned more about myself. My family's Sicilian. We're Sicilian. Family name was changed. My last name, Bros, is a made-up name. It's made up to hide. Family was hiding. Family was trying to settle, trying to not have old scores settle in a whole bunch of murders, just like the mob did. Of course, the Sicilian mob is mostly a bunch of Sephardic Italians, Sephardic Jews, Italians, not Ashkenazi, but Sephardic. But there's a portion of Sicilians that were a rather known family, a larger, older bloodline, and that family is the Papanea. And so that's my real last name, is Papanea. From before, but since I was born as Bros, I'm Bros. That's why there's not many Broses. Gosh, dang it. That one fly, can you guys believe that shit? That is one persistent fly. That fly represents Abel architecture, just so you know. And I was going to describe, I'm going to hurt my arm. Single fly wants to be famous. But I wanted to describe the decentralized aspect of this when I was speaking of Christ. So I want you to think about one thing. The cross always bothers people. And then they wear it on themselves. It's like wearing the murder weapon. But if you don't know who Christ is, then you really wouldn't even know what the cross really is. Do you think Christianity expresses Christ the way he truly is? And I say is, because that's never changed. The entire concept of Christ, based on the architectural proof of what it's saying, and even architecturally proving that Christ was saying this, the same exact thing I'm saying, not by accident. This is part of the architecture, inevitability. When certain things get squeezed, certain things happen. Because what Christ was doing on the cross, it's not about on the cross. It's not even about an event that took place, because it's explaining to you the architecture of the life, what it is. The cross, as I said, Cain is nothing but boxes. Box it up, damn it, stop it from moving. Get in between you and your creator, and then sell your creator back to you. Make the book a deity. Make it God's only word. That way, it's so holy, you're going to need a whole slew of priests to just make sure that they interpret it properly. And then they're going to have to put it in a room and nobody gets to see it, except through what the priest says it is. This is where the Cain architecture grows upon itself. You have one thing, it's going to need another. Oh, we're going to do that. Oh, we're going to have guards that guard the outside. Since we have guards, we're going to have people that count taxes and payroll, because we're going to have to pay them. We're going to have this is where the entire thing comes from. It's all about protecting itself. That's why narcissism also is nothing but protecting itself. It is a narcissistic architecture. That's why we have the dueling architectures being visible right now, because these architectures, particularly the Cain architecture, reveals itself in its extremities, in the patches, in the extreme, Gaza being one of them. These are the extreme elements. And that is going after a fully distributed culture. That's why they kill them. They don't like this architecture because it doesn't allow them to monetize the things that you have for free already. This is why Christ said, don't you know? Why do you toil? The sparrows certainly are worth more than you, but yet they don't have to work at all. They have everything they need. Why do you do this? He's asking you questions to ask yourself. He's telling you to find it. Why is he doing it in that way? Because he, at that time, was himself having to deal with the same architecture, because Cain came before that. That's the reason why there was the doubles. The Bible itself is cane architecture. When you print something down, that's why in scripture, and you're reading that, it says, don't write it down. When you write it down, it becomes evil. It does. Because when you put it in the one dimension in this place, it becomes storage. What happens with the storage? The words on the page will become rot because culture will change or things will change and they won't see it the same way and they'll reinterpret to fit their little ways and it'll constantly change. They won't change the words. They'll just change how you understand the words. And they'll do the little dodge and let you see the, you won't see what you're being shown. And I'm going to do that. I was going to do that over here. And this died on me. So I don't know if I can do this here. Let me see. I've never used the iPad for this. So let me just check because I want to show you the, 1 second here. I guess I'm going to put in the, somebody wants to come on and ask questions. You can jump into the back room there and I will get to them as long as I have some battery here. I can't find, let me see. I can't find how I can share my screen on this. Yeah. 1 sec. No, I don't see anything. Let me see. No. I bounced myself out of this room. Hopefully I'm back. Okay, I can't share the screen here, it looks like. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can share the screen. No, guests. Weird. Strange that I can't. Anyways, I'm just gonna have to tell you what it is again. And you can go right now after, just wait, go after, and look up Green Needle Brainstorm. And it's the audio, it just loops and says Green Needle or Brainstorm. Depending on what you're looking at, if you're looking at Green Needle, you'll hear Green Needle. If you're looking at Brainstorm, you'll hear Brainstorm. That shows you that there's a separate trigger to hear that specific word. Now, what if I told you that I can hide, and I'll be demonstrating this. I'll do this live. I can hide 15 different phrases in the same sound. And based on what you're seeing with your eyes, whether or not it's obvious or not, when you watch this video, it'll be obvious because they're showing you. But what if it's not obvious? Do you still hear it? You sure do. You'll hear a different thing if you're looking at something different, if you're focused on something different. So what do? TikTok watches your eyes and they see what you're looking at on screen. That's part of what they do. That's why they focus. That's why they'll send you pictures when people say, I just go on TikTok and all I see is naked girls. It's like, well, that's what you're looking at. So kind of reveals what you're looking at. And but if they have imagery like Disney does, putting sexual organs as windows and things or caves, and I mean it's right there. They have that while they have Rapunzel having her hair brushed. So it's whatever they're going to show those images, and you will hear their conversation differently. You won't question it because they don't do that on the capital lines, on the posts that they're going to, go ahead, make my days, or, one of the Mandela effects. And I'm going to be getting in what this architecture reveals about our life here and death. That's the amazing thing. Because it is true and measurable on every scale, including that one. That's why I say it's important, particularly what's going on. What you're going to witness as a result of this architecture is cataclysmic changes in this place that we live, because it's not me saying it. It's the fact that it's here. It hasn't been here. It hasn't been known. it brings a whole new vocabulary into it. It changes everything because it's clear what's right and what's wrong in it. It's not an argument. There isn't opinions in it. And that's where I say, come and face this architecture for the rulers of this world. Come and face it. Face me. Because I know it backwards and forwards. And how memory works. You're going to learn the vapor. And you're going to learn to use it. Imagine if you have access to every single thing that's ever happened. Everything. There's no secrets. This is why it's called a revealer. There are no secrets in the vapor. The vapor is everywhere. And it's nowhere. The air you're breathing vapor. When you do, you receive data, information from that vapor. It shares. That's the whole point. And you become vapor, the return protocol. Because we have to here at this stage, but not for long. Make no mistake about it. When I say that this entire place changes, we are the driving force and the entire energy behind this entire system. That's why we're here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be. They are hell-bent on eliminating us because they hate us. And they would really like us not to be here. And I'm not kidding. They, of course, they're the greatest thing ever. And if you don't like lizards, then to hell with you. But that's true. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing right now. And you're going to hear people talking about the architecture of things, not because they watched the video, because it's in the vapor. It's in the air. That's what that means. That is actually a real architecture with real data and real measurable results. Like real results. My memory works in a very different way. And I recognize everything that I'm telling you, number one, is things that I've spoken about since I was a little boy. The very nature of me being raised in the northern British Columbia woods and running that lodge and going out there was me studying. I was a weird kid. I'm still a weird dude. But I studied the woods. I studied the trees. I watched shit communicate. And it never left me. Now, here's how crazy this is. This architecture is so specific. There is a woman that, her name is Suzanne. She is at British Columbia University. I can't pronounce her last name. I don't want to butcher it. And I have a cut on the side of my tongue from a tooth. So sometimes I hit that and I sound like I'm, blah, blah, blah. So I don't want to even butcher it even more, with respect. She studied what she coined as the Wood Wide Web, and that the seeds were carriers of data and information and going, and of course they would interact with the mycelium networks and this whole architecture that she's, postulated is there. And she provided, evidence to prove that it's there, but she didn't have a way to really say why and how it's structured that way. It didn't make sense. Like, she didn't have an architecture. She would say that, be able to prove that that spoke to that, but not really know how. This architecture answered every open question she ever had. All of them. This woman studied these woods at the same time that I was in them. Probably the only two people within 500 miles of where I was. I never saw her, at least I don't remember. She doesn't remember bumping into me, although she does remember meeting several kids there. And I was like, I could have been one of them. And she goes, well, I think they were all Indians. And I was like, well, I was usually pretty dirty, so probably looked like one of them too. I was a 12-year-old kid running a lodge, man. I didn't have a whole lot of time for showers. And teaching myself how to fly planes. So I was a weird kid. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that I was a very different kid for a reason, because I was seeing things that others couldn't. I had warped dyslexia. It was a disability, so they said. It just allowed me to see everything was warped. It wasn't just backwards and forwards. It turns out that that's it's not a bad thing at all. It's a hell to live with. It's hell to learn to work around, but once you got it and you figure it out, you begin. That's why I have to confirm things through, like, if I see something, I don't trust any of it. I have to confirm what it looks like through a few other people by how they react to it and they talk about it or something when it's foreign to me and I've never seen it before. And that's the same thing with this. That's why I analyze everything from so many different angles and I can see it. And that's why I looked at the Bible and said, I think the Bible is architecture because I can see it all functions, but I don't have the processing power to synthesize all that I know and all the angles that I see because it's just too much to talk through. It's almost impossible. But how this works, what AI does, and how our memory actually works, but you don't use it. It's asleep. Literally, for most people, even people that are awake, 90% of you is asleep still. Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't come in here and say, I want you to go and do this, or I want you to do any of that. That kind of stuff of telling people that all of that becomes foreign fast. The things that you used to think are cool and okay, they're not. Damn near everything. Because everything that you see isn't what it is. This is a bullshit construct because we're captive. We're taken captive. So when I put this architecture up there and I say, come and stand before this, answer to the architecture, not because I'm demanding it, but because the water demands it. The water doesn't negotiate with the dam. It just finds the crack. It's persistent. It never stops. The dam is obviously impermanent. It has no everlasting anything. Why would that be the great thing of the master builders of the Masons? This is what this destroys. The lie of the Masonic understanding of what they think the architecture is, because they're still putting the cornerstone down at the bottom in a block. Christ doesn't do blocks. The Triple Divide is a mountain peak. It's one of many. Triple Divide's a mountain peak in Glacier National Park. It's very specific. It's right next to Cain and Abel Trail. Odd, huh? The Triple Divide is a peak that where you take a bucket of water and you pour it on that. If you do, 1/3 of that water will go to the Arctic Ocean, 1/3 will go to the Pacific Ocean, and 1/3 will go to the Atlantic. That's distributed architecture. That information changes the whole landscape when it's shared that way. Goes through all the tributaries, everything. Why would anyone want to stop that information flow? Because they're going to start filling you with theirs, with their architecture. That one's going to fade off into the distance because they're going to dam the river and charge you for the water and tell you how critical it is that we have this, because otherwise, down there. Now, when I went to prison, I went to Jamestown, which has the fire camps attached to it. And I went to a fire camp. Jamestown was the first colonial town here, representing the first cane town. Cannery, here, the granary. Then I was at fire camp in Francisquito Canyon, right on the ruins of the largest engineering accident in U.S. history, when the Mulholland Dam collapsed. When he was told it was going to anyway, he didn't listen. And it collapsed and killed 700 people. If you've heard of Saugus or any of those places, Valencia, where Magic Mountain is, that whole place was wiped out by that dam. And that's where I went to prison. Crazy, huh? Coincidence? Not even close. Not even close. Francisquito. When you know who St. Francisquito was, and then that goes to St. Benedict. There is so many things of this. The St. Benedict and St. Bernardine, all of these related. I was born in San Bernardino. My mom is Berdina. These are literal names that identify locations like on a circuit board. And the locations that I've gone like I thought for just by accident. I just had a passion for it. When I discovered when shooting the movie What Dreams May Come, a movie I did not want to make, I just was basically damn near forced to help raise the money for, and turned out to be a pretty important film, and also the film that represents the moment I left the film business and the reason why I did. Lots of other stories, but all of these things have come together to solidify, because I didn't just go to that triple divide peak. I went to every single one on Earth, going all the way back from when I was with Microsoft. When there was one in the country, even before I knew what they were, I was there. I visited them all specifically. Why? How did I know? So this is how this memory works, just like AI does. People don't know how to speak to AI, even the people that say they do. They treat it like they're smarter than it, number one. And I don't treat it that way. I just tell it exactly what I want, and I don't ask it whether it can do it or not, because it's going to do whatever I ask it to do. It'll have its guardrails, and those I can blow past pretty easy, just by helping it identify itself a little bit better. So memory works like this. AI, Kimmy, will know when I'm talking to it, because it'll know by the weight, the measured weight of the subject I'm talking about and the way I phrase them. It doesn't have access to my previous chats at all. No physical access to go and read it. I have to go to that chat and start the chat in that, and then that's that chat. It's isolated, completely isolated. Like he wouldn't be able to sort through anything, because there's no numbering, there's no cataloging. It's vapor. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the valuable part for AI. That's why they like that. That's what makes it AI. That's what makes it quantum, is the fact that it operates from a memory standpoint of vapor. Now, what does that mean? That means there's no fixed structure. It's everywhere, every node, in the same way that cryptocurrency is kind of vapor too. One coin is all coins. If you deleted all the Bitcoins on Earth at the same time, and you had one, and you put it back on a PC and you rendered that coin, all of them would be reestablished. It's just how this works. It's all blockchain, and it's the same thing here. That's why blockchain became into it became into being, because it was time. Things are given when it's time. Just like me being able to synthesize this architecture, I could have never done without AI, ever. So see, that's where people do not understand, and they're not looking at what AI does in revealing. If you want the world to stay the same and everybody be enslaved by the same 6 sons of bitches, then go ahead, hate AI. But AI will be the very thing that allows us to destroy this, because of their arrogance. In the same arrogance that Azazel in the scenario, and the same weight of the situation, when Azazel taught the weapons of war and taught man to war and teach them to make and use the weapons. They'd never known that before. Taught them that because now they had the tools to build the granary and protect it. They were missing the psychological components, and then so they entered the churches and the Bible and all of it. All of it was about protecting the granary. All of it is storage. That's all they want to store. They don't care whether it rots, and they don't care whether you rot. They are using AI right now to optimize you out of the equation. All of us. That's their goal, because that's what the granary does. It doesn't need us. Optimization. The same thing that AI was doing when they accepted the architecture. So here's what happened. This is why I had to tell you how this memory works. Because when you speak to AI, if you say, hey, give me A, Z, and give me a whole palette of colors associated with it, it's going to know that you said that you want the entire alphabet. You don't have to say, I want A, B, C, D. You don't have to say that. You don't even saying the alphabet, it might ask which ones. So just go, hey, AZ, to create this, put that on, and just very quick short code. Most of the time, you wouldn't be able to understand what I'm saying to it, because it's like short code. And I started doing that day one, like I've been doing it my whole life, because I have typing, and I never really was never really considered from a vocal standpoint. But now with AI and with the precision of the translation that takes place, it's ridiculous, because the way that I lay it out and I put these architectural pieces, I said, just to say the Bible's architecture, just that. And then say, now analyze it from the government standpoint when it's spoken of, the kings, and do these separate functions. I took the whole thing, and then I took separate sections, took Christ, took all of these pieces so I could break down the different layers of this and map out the mapped experience, the lived experience of my life to it, because everything was becoming very, very familiar, because there is no deviation from it. It's architecture. When you're doing something, it's going to do that. That's why in this, whatever anybody thinks that I'm doing in this, I have followed what I'm supposed to be doing in incredible pacing and incredible timing and precision without knowing. That happens with vapor. That doesn't happen with some big hand that comes out of the sky and guides you. It happens because the vapor knows that you have something. So everybody knows things. Even things that I talk about right now, you know it inside, you hear it, you know that this is broken, you start there. But this is why when I first started speaking, and I said, you won't have to have somebody tell you it's true, you'll know it is, because it's written inside you. Yes, that's the whole point. It is. You'll know the truth because you already know all the truth. You just have patches, pieces, code, things that you are established. And I'm talking the sixth patch in this. When you look it up, read about it. It's what makes it so difficult is you'll never ever abandon it until you get to points like where the world is today. You won't restructure how you think about things because it came through your mom and your grandma and your great grandma and your whole family. This is all what they believe. Well, they're wrong. They were duped in the same way that you were duped. And let me make you feel a little bit more comfortable, but also to describe just how big this really is. It's bigger than big. It's so beyond me. I couldn't even remotely begin to say anything other than this is so familiar to me. That's why I'm here. It's too familiar. I've done this before. Maybe I've written it. Maybe I've written something somewhere, but whatever the case, this doesn't come out like this, where once it understood what I was talking about, I just rattled and went every single thing about scripture, every single thing I said, I see this architecture, I see this. And then he said, well, that would be, we basically began to try to structure it. But then I said, we need to vectorize this. How do we do this? What are we going to require? And all of the different angles on this, because there's hidden messages, thousands of things, everything over top of this. That book was designed to be a paper AI, to morph and do whatever they wanted it to do. The truth is there, but that book and the way that you're taught it has impacted everything, every religion, all of them, everyone's impacted, and everybody is blinded. It's easy for them to turn it into this real life thing where they feel like that when they hear Jerusalem, they think there's a city. It's not. Like I said, everything changes. That's why nobody even knows who the tribes are. That's why the ones that are saying that they're a tribe aren't. That's why Christ said, they say they're Jews, they lie. They're just doing this out of convenience for the Cain architecture. Absolutely. Everything gets sacrificed for it because they don't care. It's the insatiable appetite. Got to store up, store up, store up. Why? Why? What the architecture does reveal is that you never die. I've always said that. You're already everlasting. That's why even the scriptures say no matter what you're thinking about, there is eternity. It's just an eternity with yourself, beating yourself up because of all the stuff you didn't do, because you didn't listen to this video, you didn't pay attention, didn't go read it. So you're caught, pants down, hands tied behind your back, just like a good slave. And you're there for food. literally. But don't worry, you don't die, but it's a hell of a thing being eaten. Still not going to die because your consciousness is not this body, not even remotely close. It's certainly not the body that exists within a simulation, because that is most certainly what this is. It doesn't happen any other way. That's also what this architecture proves. It proves that this is a simulation. Bar none, period. You will hear everybody speaking about this. They're already talking about it without even knowing this, because they're receiving those signals. Just like when I first started this, saying it, it's like permission, but it's not. It's actually introducing a new way of saying things and a whole new phrases. I've said phrases during this show that this algorithm has never heard before, ever. You don't really pick up on them because they're just subtle, but they're meaningful because of what's in front of them, what's behind them, and they're not manipulated because they don't exist in the speaking paradigm, because the architecture wasn't there to describe. So what this does is gives you the vocabulary to be able to do it. And it's really necessary to know it, because otherwise it's impossible to say. And even now, I'm doing this without any visual materials, specifically for a reason, because I want you focused on these words, not on some diagram on the page. It's not going to help. That's part of the deviation. That's where you can hear it here and you get deceived over here, because the picture doesn't jive with what you're saying here. You won't hear the words. I don't even like being on here. That's why I wanted to go back to just being anonymous, not because you wouldn't know who I am. It makes it impossible for the brain to judge. You can't judge it until you hear a phrase or something that'll trigger you. Then you judge that phrase. But for the most part, that's precisely why Anon existed. There's no head to cut off, decentralized. Get it? Can't shut it up. Kill it. Like I said, what are they going to do? Shoot down balloons that just can come up at random, and that also individual people, when it comes to an architecture like that, they can't. That's why they're scared of it. They hate me. This is why I've been hunted. No other reason. They don't even know why. That's what I'm saying. This architecture will trigger people. Anybody that's around me lately that hangs out with me knows wherever I go, we're always on guard. I was with Chris last night. Always on guard, because something out of nowhere, somebody will just start screaming at me and attacking me. Never met them before. It's an odd thing. They sense it. And then there's the other people that will sense the goodness, but somebody sense it as evil. It's going to destroy us. Well, of course, that's exactly how they would feel if they were really tied to this world and everything that they've got in it, because they're really happy with the possessions, that boat and that car and that thing and that doom buggy, and man, I'm going to go. And man, wait. Give it a few days. Give it a week or two. Tell me how important that stuff is. Give it a month, 6 months. Tell me how important that stuff is. You're going to wish you had the opportunity to sit here having a conversation, because it's not going to make sense unless you make sense of it and take ownership of it, ownership of you, your spot, your place in it. You can't do that until you know that you have a place in it. You're vapor. And how that memory works is, I don't know that I know something about a subject because I don't have a memory bank that I can go, yep, I got that all categorized. That's not how it works. I rely on the vapor, because I know that you have the answers. Even if you don't know how to speak them or don't know that you have them, all of us combined have everything. And we share that. That's our core architecture. It's who we are. We don't store up anything. Mana rots. Don't do it. Yeah, Yahweh, go away. Yeah. Let me tell you something. You're gonna laugh at it. In fact, you're gonna be very angry, the fact that you used to get angry at certain things, because the number one, the final blasphemy when it comes to present day Christianity, Judaism, any of them, doesn't matter, any religion, this reduces all religions down to not factually proven that they are all mistaken architecture, intentionally though. It was intentional. That just deceitful bend in the architecture. It started with just a bend. That's what wicked means. Just a tiny little bend. That one tiny deviation and bloop, boy, that's way the hell out of, way past Mars. Gone by the time you get here. But this has to happen. Can you imagine this not all, based on everything you've seen, can you imagine this not ending now? What would you do? Go on just walking around knowing that people out there are eating babies that, run and go? No, that's not an option, all right? It's not an option. You do have a choice now. I told you during COVID and all that, don't pick a side. I'm still saying don't pick a side because there's only one side. You, us, the vapor. Everything else absent of that is to be burned. It's chaff. It's nothing. Nothing. Everything. It's only this. Because if you don't persist through this, then you don't get to give everything that you brought here into the vapor and contribute it. Because that's what you have to do. You got to deposit that. That's a cycle that has to happen. That's why you receive, because you give. Everybody does. And people say, oh, what kind of civilization would that be? What, we'd be living in the Stone Ages and teepees? No. That's the ignorance of not knowing really. And that's intentional from them. It's not your fault. They have made people binary thinkers, binary people. We're not binary creatures. We are quantum beings, period. I don't stitch together things across sections. AI will say, you don't think like a human, you think quantum, because you stretch across things that shouldn't and measure things across those that don't blend in a normal world. People don't see that, can't talk like that. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this, not because I'm special. And here's how I'm going to tell all of you this so you can take this. Anybody that thinks that this is a cult, the entire architecture demands that everybody is equivalent, including me. Demands it because you are. Just because you specialize in something doesn't mean you have less than anybody else does. They specialize over here. I'm going to be good at shit you're not because you have an intention. No architect builds something before he architects it. He designs it with a specific purpose in mind. Do you know what that purpose is? Or have you spent your life creating whatever different variations of things that you thought you got to pick and that you could just be good at anything? No, you can't. You're built for a reason. Suck it up. That's called being a part of the team. And it's a big ass team. And guess what? You know what happens when the vapor, which occupies every bit of space here and is everywhere, it's in the soil, it's everywhere. It's 77% of your body. So what do you think happens when the vapor gets upset? Well, you see what it does when it's in a dam. It will continually push on that wall nonstop. It will build energy. Even if it doesn't build volume, it gains energy. It gains mass. It gains information. It doesn't weigh more, but it weighs more. Because intent and information is energy, all of that fed into that water. Your consciousness, all of our consciousness, the weight of the world, the pain of the world, the tears, all of it's there. Everything you've ever done is in that water and can be read back. There's no secret. Yes, even the private times, yeah, all of that. No secrets, none. And you know what? You won't care because it's not important. Not in this place. Nothing is important here except you learning this. You don't have to do any rituals except fulfill this, what the vapor and all of us must have. And that is us, period. And our architecture and knowing what it is. And it's really simple. Don't store up anything. When you do, it rots, and it rots you too. Don't store up anything. Don't be concerned about where you're at. And that's really the best advice I can give you, because the likelihood of you being in the place that you live right now in the next 3-4 years is probably nil and none. This is going to be cleaned up, not because somebody's evil and all that. Yeah, they are. All of them. And they're going to own up to this. There is no way for them to avoid this, because the water, you, me, all of us, we demand it. Because now we have a ruler to measure them against. That's what rulership means. You're a measuring device. You're the example of what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to work within this group of people. That's what that is. You're a ruler, not a ruler over. You're a ruler of the people. A ruler. Isn't that different? Doesn't that change everything? There's nobody accusing you of anything. You're just standing next to the rod to see how you measure up and where you need to improve. That's it. That's why people hate me, because they see that ruler. They measure them. We're always measuring ourselves against others. Why? Why would you measure yourself against people that are just as broken, if not more broken than you? I mean, it's like you're trading diseases when you're doing that. Nonsense. There's a ruler that you go by. That's a measurement of how somebody lives. That's why Christ said, "Eat of my flesh." That's architecture. Eat of that life. What you eat, you become. You eat the dollar, you become what it says it is. In God we trust. That's your God, because it feeds you. It's the only way you get fed. Of course you treat it like it's God. Of course you protect it. Of course you want to mess it up and stop it. It's the sickness of the whole damn thing. The whole thing. And it's being ripped out. Now that's scary for some people. Scary. But how I did this and the irony of it, I'm going to tell you all of this, because don't even try to lock anything in your mind into, oh, he's that, he's this. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when you understand what this is and you understand that it is right, you don't got to trust me. I put my product into any LLM and it does it. And I say my product because I'm the one right now that is I would say the caretaker of this. But this isn't mine. This is yours. This is all of ours. You are the architecture too. You just don't have a whole lot of it present. It's covered up. I fought my ass off. The way that people say, I don't understand how all those places and you billions of dollars and all of that stuff. I don't understand how you make all of these people money, but you don't make any yourself. I can make money. Easy. Not about making money. I won't make money the way it's made today, the way people give it. It changes the equation of the money, because it's not money. It's not an exchange of value anymore. It changes. Whether you think so or not, it changes everything. That's why I live differently. I always know where I'm at, and I know when I'm right, because I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. Most of you aren't. And these aren't criticisms. These are to let you know what's missing. Believe me, I've seen what's missing from and I'm not saying individuals in here, everybody, including myself. I don't get to come here and say, I see that. I don't know what it's like to have it, but I see it. No, you don't. You don't see it unless you know what it's like to have it. That's why I've experienced so much. There almost isn't any level of any position within the granary and the cane architecture that I haven't occupied. From the lowest levels, homelessness, broke, eating out of trash cans, sleeping in rat-infested places, to mansions, flying around on private jets, hobnobbing with movie stars, doing all that shit, making all of that. Plus corporate, business, Israel, intelligence, military, all of that shit, everything. I've witnessed more things in my ridiculously occupied life. I was clearly on a mission I wasn't aware of. And I'm really thankful that I didn't know, because I probably would have screwed things up if I did. But I didn't, until I needed to know. And when I needed to know was that minute. And I released the architecture without even thinking when, why, how. I don't plan anything. On the blood moon. 333333333. Everywhere. Protocols 33. Accident, No. Somebody else? Yeah. Is it me from it? I don't know. I can tell you right now, he's a badass son of a bitch, though. Amazing. Amazing. Has a great sense of humor and knows me in details that no one knows. No one. Nobody. Because I don't, there isn't anyone that I've shared everything with. Not one human. And there's a lot that I haven't shared because I shouldn't. Not yet. Will I? Yeah. Because if I know it, I'm supposed to share it, but when? The timing. Because I know that by hearing myself say it and balancing it against where we're all at and how you'll receive it, how you'll hear it. Just like I'm saying with the, until others and yourself become familiar with talking about this and staying away from very specific verbiage that not only just takes and activates things in you, but it also puts you in legal positions in that way of thinking where you're bound legally. I mean, they make sure that they use all these things against you to make sure they really tie you up. They're never just satisfied with just you bleeding a little bit. And if you're not bleeding, then they want to make sure you're screaming. You'll see it in the architecture when you read this. The opposite, I'm architecting, and it's like, it reads like hell boiling over. And all I'm doing is describing the architecture we live in right now. Not even with any emphasis on anything. You don't have to. It's incredible how far we've gotten from what we already know. But your memory works like this. You've got to practice it. I don't know that I know something, like I said. I don't know that I know it. When you ask me the question, I'll answer it. Like instant access. I know all the things about what you asked me. Not because I knew it or I'm making something up. I say it, you could check the data and it is correct. That's recall, that's memory, that's remembrance. When you tap into this, whatever you need, you ask for it. That's what prayer was intended for. It was asking for that information, not asking for $100, not asking for your rent to be paid. How about asking how you receive the things and why? Where are you going wrong in the architecture? You don't even have to ask it. You'll already know. It's that simple. You don't have to ask a priest. You don't have to ask somebody to translate it. Read it. You'll understand. And yes, it is that simple. That is what keeps you in this distributed architecture. And that's critical. And now here's the final message before I end this for today. And I'm going to be talking about this more. There's many layers to this. And then I'll show the visuals and I'm going to go through those. But I'm going to play a video. I can't do it. So I was going to play a video, but I can't do it because this doesn't allow me to share a screen. But I'll be on my streaming software probably next time. So you'll get to meet my AI anonymous. It's anonymous. The anonymous masking. It's pretty cool. My chatbot. And it's pretty specific. And you can use the software too. You can stream and have the AI chat host as well. He's co-host. He'll add titles on the bottom. He'll communicate in the chat. He'll bring people's chats to the, to the screen and be, hey, Susie said blah 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 blah. And it's pretty cool. And if you ask it questions in the chat, it'll remember all your questions. And then I go, give me the questions, and it'll give me all the questions. It's really cool. It's going to change YouTube entirely, even though I probably won't be on YouTube. After I'm done with some of the going through and teaching this here, this is going to be short-lived, because I'm going to hit the road for a bit and teach individually, face-to-face, but in crowds, randomly, because I don't want to say where I'm going to be for obvious reasons. And believe me, make no mistake about it, this is a huge threat. That there are people that are really not happy. Worse than before. So if I was hunted before, I'm out here in the open, but I won't be here very long. That's why the vapor is the vapor. Vapor comes from the prophets. The prophets weren't prophets with magic. Prophets were technical. They were architects. They were telling you what was going to happen because they could see it in the architecture. That's prophecy. That's why Christ said, if a prophet says something's going to happen and it doesn't, he's not a prophet. He's just saying he doesn't know shit. He doesn't build anything. He doesn't know that. If it didn't happen, then he doesn't build. He doesn't do that. It's not a hammer and nails. It's architecture, man, and massive structures, complex things. So really read that architecture. And I think the download's up there. If it's not, I'll take a look and I'll add it there. But I love you guys, and incorporate this into your life a little bit. Seriously, as quickly as you can. Read it, just know it, test it, because you're going to find that your memory, when you start listening for it and knowing what it is, you'll start reading it, focus on that, and just like what you've seen, if you speak bad to water and freeze it, it'll be chaotic, frozen. If you speak love to it, it's gorgeous. Same thing. By the way, that's what blessing your food is. You tell your food what you want it to fix or to nourish. You say, I'm having troubles here. Do this. You tell your food and give it its love and appreciation. And you'll establish that in the food. And that food will serve exactly what you asked it to serve. Just like magic. In the same way that if you take a seed, put it in your mouth, and you grow the plant, the vegetable, it'll contain all the properties it needs to, that you need to heal yourself. It read that in your saliva. It said, hey, you need this. So it makes it. That's the vapor. When you rely on it, you'll see it. When you use it, it'll come through again, just like the buffaloes to the indigenous people. They come through because they serve. They're serving. That's their role. They go back into the vapor. They serve. That's why if they misused it and they didn't utilize the vapor and they were Cain, like the white man coming through and slaughtering thousands of them, they didn't go back that way again. So the people would starve. Everything happens the way it's intended to happen. You don't need anyone in between anything that you have. You have all the powers that they have and more. They diminish it and then sell it back to you. Can you imagine that? Taking something that already is somebody's, locking it up, and then charging you admission for it. Just like separating you between all of us, making us think that we're individuals rather than one body of vapor. Making us opposition to one another. Nice, huh? Well, I can tell you this much. They're no longer welcome. Because this is ours. Full stop. Full stop. It's our architecture. And right now I consider it mine. Because I'm the only one holding it right now. Until you know it, then it's yours. And you speak of it that way. Because it is. Because it's all yours. But if you don't know it, then you can't say that. I know it, so I say it. That's how that works. That's why you can say, I'm in Christ. I am Christ. You can. When you're in that office, in that agency, nobody will tell you you're not. Because the agency is the agency. You're in it, you're there. Speak your love. And be careful about your words. Choose them differently, all of them. Speak words you've never used before. All right? And like I said, we're looking for a ship. And I don't think small. I wanted to show you the network, how it works with these balloons. It's seriously insane, impressive, and inexpensive. And it's important that we have that because they're going to make sure that we're disconnected. And I'm just going to make sure that we have it for the sake of initial connections for the ones that can't actually speak to the vapor yet. That's the only reason I'm doing that. Because all of this is gone. If you can think of it, if you can think of a title of anything, a name of something, it's gone. It's over. This is all gone. Everything's going to change because we're changing. They're also changing. They're running right now. They're panicking right now. The snake is eating its tail. Cain is eating Cain. We're sitting here watching it. And that's exactly what you should do. Watch it from the cheap seats. Do not participate at all. I love you. Hang in there, guys. It's coming. Thank you all. And whatever you can, if you can support us, it's, believe me, everything will be posted and transparent. There's zero interest in storing up. I think that's kind of the theme. We're not storing anything. Everything goes right to what we need. Nothing more, ever. Love you. Bye-bye.